The British National Sound Preservation and Archival Society are proud to present a remastered instalment of the classic 1950s classic serial, Upright, the remarkable story of a Victorian gentleman. Based on the novel by Gravelly Stokes and adapted to a standard sufficient to avoid copyright infringement by Valmere Lake. Episode 7. The Brothers Chirichops.
Alas and alack! The two old ladies who purchased Mr. Clown to make their brother laugh again after 20 years are clearly unaware that he has been dead for all but a few of them. There is nothing left but bones. It occurred to me that I could turn this to my advantage and escape. Please leave your brother and I alone, and I shall have him laughing again in no time. Are you sure? Yes. My plan was to laugh at my own merriment and pretend it was not I, but Snackwood laughing, and then I would be able to leave as is the agreement. My mind reeled at my inventiveness. Clearly none of my predecessors had thought of this. I wondered what became of them. The other clowns used to tell jokes and pretend Snatchwood was laughing. That made us cross, didn't it, sister? Very cross, sister. Very, very cross. You wouldn't do that, would you? Not now. Splendid. If you make dear Snatchwood laugh, you shall get your just reward. If you do not, you shall get your just reward. Is it the same one? No. I looked at dear Snatchwood and knew I had my work cut out. But what could I do but agree to try? We shall leave you together. But before we leave, it is better I should wake Snatchwood. He does not like to be startled. I do not think he will startle easily. But to my surprise, Miss Lumpwick went to another part of the room, and for the first time I noticed somebody sitting there who was alive. He was fat and round, with long straggly grey hair and eyes, which snapped open, an icy blue.
Another clown, sister.
Another, Snatchwood. This one says he is funny.
They all say they are funny.
His eyes went to the skeleton I had taken to be him, and I now noticed that stuck to the middle of the skull was a bright red clown nose. So this is what happens to my predecessors, I thought. The door closed, and we were alone. Where is Mrs. Jiggles, Mary? I don't know, Mr. Brassfeet. If she don't get back soon, there'll be no dinner. There's potatoes and carrots and peas to be counted yet, not to mention the turnips. And all them peas have got to be individually wrapped. And then there's eggs. I can't tell them apart. Stop complaining and get on with your work, girl. Oh, this is most unlike Mrs. Jiggles. Where can she be? We're going to miss you, Mrs. Jiggles. You've been really helpful. Well, I could see as you lads in the lunatic asylum needed an hand. All them prisoners going missing and then not going missing. It was the counting that was getting you wrong. It always is. Oh, I've lost count of the times counting's caused me problems, so there you are. I could have sworn old Chirichops was gone, but now we can count proper, we'll never have to worry again. Right then, lads, one last time before I go, to make sure you've got it right. 1, 2, 1, 2... Oh, no, that's a bit confusing. Go! 1 little, 2 little, 3 little prisoners, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little prisoners. 7 little prisoners sitting in their cell. Inside the next is another one as well. 8 little prisoners serving their time. Another in the next cell. That makes 9. 9 little, 10 little, 11 little prisoners trying to get free, which gives us a total of 23. Which is right. So, I make 25, so I can go. Don't forget us, will ya? Oh, I won't. Bring another cake. Oh, I will. Oh, that was close. Oh, they haven't realised Mr. Cheery Chops has escaped and might at this very moment be heading for Netherwood Park and a confrontation with his arch-brother, Mr. Cheery Chops. Oh, I do wish I knew which is the bad twin and which is the one who isn't. Oh.
I say.
Not again.
No, you say, what do you say, what do you say, what do you say, like the last 8 times.
I know, but is there any point?
Snackswood was proving a difficult audience. I'll assume you've said it. My porcupine's got no prickles.
Then he will die.
No, you say, how does he prick his prey? Go on.
How does he prick his prey?
He doesn't. He prays for a...
Enough!
Prick. I don't actually understand that joke, but people laughed when Whippet said it.
Then I wish he were here now.
So do I.
I shall never laugh again. How I curse the day I inadvertently saw my face in that puddle and realized for the first time the cruel trick nature had played upon my features. Once I believed myself to be not uncomely, but now I know that no woman would ever love this grey, muddied, wet face of mine.
There are many words in your sentence, sir. I understand but few of them. But can it be you have never looked within a looking-glass?
My sisters will not have them in the house. The puddle is the first time I saw myself, and the last.
You are unsightly, but I wonder if the puddle did not do you justice. I took the red nose from the clown's skeleton and polished it against my tunic till it glowed. Look into my glowing tunic.
Why, my face is shiny, clean, and white. It has 3 little buttons down it. Buttons a lady might like to undo. Oh, how can this be?
He began to laugh, though not with amusement, but with pleasure at his appearance. Can you laugh louder?
No.
He is laughing, ladies. He is laughing. I think he may be dead now. What is happening in here? Brother, are you all right? What have you done to him? He died, laughing. While the sisters discussed the dilemma this placed upon them, I made my escape, but I did not get far before...
You!
I?
Yes, you. What have you done with my father?
Cressily Rosy-Nose!
I've been tracking the hoof prints for weeks, but the trail went cold at the circus. Then I found out you'd been clowning around down there, and now you've come here. Where is he? What have you done with that sweet, kind, innocent old man?
You say there are 2, Mr. Cheery Chopses?
Yes, Mr. Sneeringly, sir.
You better explain yourself, Mrs. Jiggles.
Well, one is bad, sir, and the other's good. I had the bad one locked up 'cause the good one and me was going to get married and live happily ever afters. But then he goes to London and I realise he's the bad one and I locked up the wrong one, and if the bad one realises he'll force me to tell him where the good one is and our lives won't be worth living. To make matters worse, I pretended to my Cheery Chops that I thought he was the bad Cheery Chops to keep him safe, for he wasn't insane at all. Only now I think all that time in prison with no hope has driven him insane after all, 'cause you never know how prison will take a fella, do you, sir? And now he's gone free and heaven knows what'll happen.
Why have you not said this before?
I've been saving up my puff, sir.
We must act quickly. If Lord Dubious were to confide our secrets in the wrong Cheery Chops brother, or the Cheery Chops brother that is now mad finds and attacks the Cheery Chops brother who is sane but bad, no good can come of it.
I couldn't have put it better myself, sir.
There is your father. He is perfectly happy and well cared for.
I don't like to see him perform me tricks for money. Mind you, that's what he used to say to me.
You performed as a horse?
Not as an horse, no. Poor father, he should be running free in the fields. But at least he is safe here.
I can't see Whippet. I wonder where he is.
Come on, we must get to Netherwood Park.
What is that to you? I thought you wanted to saddle up Mr. Rosy-Nose and we all go home.
I've got work to do first. I have almost all the evidence I need to bring this smuggling racket to an end.
A smuggling racket? What is that?
Piracy.
Captain Cutlass, what is that to do with you?
A few months ago, I was pulling pints for sailors at me local, when Captain Fancy, who I know slightly, came up to me.
Hello, Cressida. How do you feel about doing some secret work for Her Majesty's Navy? You'll need to go under cover.
I've heard that one before.
You're just the unlikely yet cunning sort of person we need. You'll be given a code name and everything.
How much?
Can I not appeal to your patriotic sense of duty?
No. I done it for the money, but I done it well.
She must be the oily duck Whippet was talking of. Whippet talked of you. You were supposed to be meeting him.
I contacted him first of all so I'd have someone on the inside, but he disappeared. I thought they must have found him out, so I latched on to you.
But had I not come to your father's stables?
That's why I left the poster.
I must hire a horse. Oh, a poster on my front door, advertising Mr. Rosy-Nose Stables for Horses. I have never noticed that before. I shall go there. I remember now.
I hoped you'd help, but I soon realised you're too thick. Come on, we've got to get to Netherwood before Cheery Chops.
At last, Netherwood. I shall infiltrate the house before my brother arrives, and then I shall be ready to confront him and take back all that is rightfully mine, and anything that isn't, too.
Through the bushes we saw Mr. Cheery Chops stride up to the front door and ring the bell. The butler answered, and he went inside with Mr. Cheery Chops.
Right, now.
At that moment we saw Mr. Cheery Chops arrive again, this time shinning down a tree and forcing himself through a very small window. 2 Cheery Chopses.
You're quite sure there are 2 Cheery Chopses, Mrs. Jules?
Yes, my lordship, I counted them myself. One Mr. Cheery Chops wants to marry me, another Mr. Cheery Chops and his brother. That makes 2.
Good. Well, we shall be ready for them. If either is playing me false, well, they shall pay the bally price, what?
There's only one more thing I need to find out, and then, provided nothing happens to me, I have all the evidence the Navy needs, up here,
in the tree, in my head. Oh. Why should something happen to you?
Because the smugglers are looking for me, that's why. As I said, if I can find the last piece of the puzzle, how they communicate with each other, maybe by some publication which is sold everywhere in the land, so the old gang can get a copy easy like, and in its innocent-looking stories coded messages are hidden. Something like that, maybe. But once I know, they're finished. So long as nothing happens to me.
There's another Mr. Cheery Chops.
3?
My mind went back to when I would hear him talking to himself in the room below mine in my mother's bed-sitting house, and how once I saw him addressing himself in a mirror. But perhaps he was not. Perhaps he was talking to his identical-looking brother. I was about to explain this to Cressley when I noticed she appears to be dead. That must be the shot I heard.
It was.
The beautiful maiden.
Where'd she come from? Arthur does not love you. He has not mentioned you once. Why are you holding a smoking musket? Of course Whippet has not mentioned me. I have never met him. That was a deception to make you all trust me. I do trust you, and if you never met Whippet, you cannot love him. And to be honest, I do not see why you would love him even if you did meet him. He is disporting himself as a clown as we speak. I know I am dressed as one too, but I am not disporting myself. I have never done anything funny, nor never shall. Maybe you can now find it in your heart to love I. Rather than say yes, she raised the musket again, and pulled its trigger. It went bang!
You have been listening to The Brothers Cheering Chops, being episode 7 of Upright, the remarkable story of a Victorian gentleman, adapted by Valmere Lake from the novel by Gravelly Stones. Next week, episode 8, Revelations and Disclosures.